Hello, and welcome to the ninth and final episode of VUCA's special series that is titled Nine Women in 90 Minutes. My name is Orasia Nyawade, and I will be your host. Our goal with this series was to touch on the so-called, taboo topics that are affecting women in our society today. The topics that aren't commonly discussed, the topics that are mentioned by water coolers and private brunches and in hair salons. Our guest today is Doreen Mokoena, an Internet and Cybersecurity expert. Welcome, Doreen. How are you doing today?
I'm very, very well. Oh, okay. That was such a lovely introduction.
You're a boss. You're a boss. Take it. So, actually, I want to give you a few minutes to introduce yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And who do you do it for?
Okay. Well, my name is Doreen Mokoena. Like you have said, I am the founder and CEO of a company called Cybersec Clinique. Cybersec Clinique, it's a startup that focuses on web development, software engineering, and app development. We do a whole lot of privacy and policies. We do compliance and regulations as well. So Doreen is actually a former internet governance director for the country. So before I actually embarked on my own journey to, just to start my own business, I served the nation with pride. And yeah. So this is what Doreen is.
Serving the nation with pride. I wish all people would who work in, the public space can say that. So the reason why we reached out to you, Doreen, is that we wanted to touch on this topic of women in male-dominated industries, right? And there's a philosophy that you have put out saying women should be able to break the glass ceiling and claim more leadership roles in the male-dominated tech industry.
Yeah.
So how have you managed to break these ceilings?
So, like I said before, that most of the time I have participated in industry that don't usually welcome women
Mhm.
because they think that maybe our menstrual cycle affects the way we think. The fact that we need to breastfeed kids kind of like plays a huge role in our demeanor and how we carry ourselves
Mhm.
within the industry. But as a matter of fact, finding myself where I am today, it goes beyond reasonable measure that as women we can literally break the class ceiling. I mean, like I have led and I have judged the South Africa's biggest hackathons in the past 4 years. And I mean, like sometimes I was actually the head judge and I had to, tell a bunch of men that listen, the way you have written your code is not the way it's supposed to go, it's not
Yeah.
regulated correctly. And then it gave me the pride in knowing that women can actually come into this industry and we can break all these bridges that seem to divide us, and just all of us, we can come into this digital world, in this connected world, and break the gender divides. Because for me, it's more than about breaking the gender ceiling, but the divide itself, because there's still gender divides within women. We feel like this one is superior to me because she lives in a specific area or she has a specific experience. And to be quite honest, such things don't exist. You understand? We just need to fight very hard to break the gender divide, and this is what I'm actually trying to do within the internet space.
Wow. I love hearing your story because you know what's so funny that you're saying you end up judging this huge hackathons, but from what I'm hearing, you didn't even realize that you're doing it because you're a woman. You're just
Yeah,
doing it because you're Doreen, because you're
exactly.
able. So there's not these things of what oh, it's male, it's women, it's female. You know what? You're able. Don't limit yourself because of your gender. I love
Yeah.
that. All right. So while we're on the topic, could you please, for our listeners, just share 2 tips that a woman in tech, right, would need
Mhm.
to thrive and grow in the industry?
Number one, you need to believe in your products, believe in what you have to offer. Sometimes you need to take yourself out, that you're a woman, and put yourself as a competent person. Because in a nutshell, after building a software, when it goes to production, the client doesn't care whether it was built by a woman or by a man. They
Mhm.
need a working solution. So in this regard, you need to put yourself as a person who is competent for the job. Because being a woman, genderism comes to a stop, to a stop sometime. Yes, it's good that women are actually breaking the glass ceiling, but then outside of being a woman, do you have the skills? Are you competent? You understand? So it's such thing as that you need to believe into your product. You need to be, you need to believe in what you're selling for the next person. I always say that you need to sell code to a client like you're selling it to a 5-year-old. It's because that shows us that you know what you're talking about and you believe in your product. The biggest tech CEOs are actually women. Google, Facebook, IBM, and everybody, they are women. You understand? And they are not CEOs because they are women. They are CEO because of the stuff that they do. So, what I would like to say to women is we need to see ourselves outside of our gender and see ourselves as as compatible species. You know, in as much as we are so amazing, but we are also competent as well.
Yes. You know what? So you're just pushing this topic of also do everything with excellence, right?
Yeah.
So be competent, go get your skill. It doesn't matter what gender God gave you, you just go get your skill. When you're pitching for your job, do it with your all, explain it like you're explaining it to a 5-year-old and kill it.
Yeah.
So do you have any other tip for us? So you believe in yourself. What else would somebody else want to think about?
Don't be a dinosaur. What you knew yesterday, what you knew 3 months ago, what you knew last week,
Mhm.
it's not the same today. Work on cultivating your skills, study, read journals, publish journals, research, because right now we're living within the fourth industrial revolution and people still think that the 4IR is what happened 3 years ago. Right now we have AIs, we've got robotics, and everything changes as the day goes by. So
Yeah.
just make sure that whatever industry that you're in, you study. You understand? You study the topic or the subject and you understand it. So for me, it's always know what you're doing, expand on your knowledge, and
Mhm.
trust yourself. Try, because in as much as you can have all the degrees or you can be self-taught and you can know the product, if you do not believe that you can deliver, nobody will actually take that out of you and take it to the clients or to the industry. You need to cultivate that and sell yourself to the industry in order for us to know that, listen, there's this woman who can actually do this.
Yeah.
So yeah, you just need to study, believe in your product, and know your product.
Yes.
That's
So
it for me.
believe in yourself and upskill, continuously upskill. And that is advice to anyone, honestly, because what happens is that I think people finish school and they think they've made it.
Yeah.
And the life does not end there. You need to, as Doreen said, continue researching, continue upskilling, have thought leadership,
Mhm.
add to the knowledge that you have. So if you're listening from somebody who's living the life. She's not just talking. So as we wrap up, Doreen, just a
Mhm.
nice little fun question to wrap up the session and the whole series.
Mhm.
Looking at yourself where you are today and thinking of who you were back then. I'm not okay, let me remove one back then.
Mhm.
What advice or wisdom would you give to your 19-year-old self?
I think for me would actually be pat myself in the back because by then we had this culture of comparing ourselves to our peers. I mean, I for one, I mean in metric, oof, gosh, my metric was so bad. I think I had to repeat my metric 3 times. And whenever I tell people that I had to repeat my metric 3 times,
I don't believe
people
it. Mhm. I
I
don't
only
believe
passed. I actually passed a couple of subjects and I failed the other subjects. But and I went back again because not that I was not capable. I was. It's just that like my interests were in specific subjects. And coming from an underprivileged background, we don't actually have people that tell us that, you know what, if you want to become this, study everything. I just focused on math, science, and biology because I wanted to go to med school. And I was actually the first person in my family to be admitted in a med school
Wow.
after failing almost 3 times. But
Wow.
the advice that I would tell to my 19-year-old self is pat yourself in the back. What you're doing, it's actually amazing. It's good. It's just that when you're in a deep hole, you do not see the light. You feel like the light is not going to come. But eventually, as you come higher, you do see the light. So in a nutshell, do not stay down. Just keep on rising. Do not stay down.
Rising. Keep on rising. Those are
Yeah,
Doreen's words. Keep on rising.
on
Doreen,
rising.
I appreciate you so much. Thank you for ending this special series with a bang. And I think everybody wanted to hear that. Just
Mhm.
keep on rising. You might think it's dark right now. Be proud of yourself, and trust your journey. Trust your
Yeah,
journey.
true.
Thank you so much. That's it from us. Goodbye.
Thank you for having me, and thank you guys for watching.
Shop, shop.